Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be comparing the Mercedes-Benz CLA 45 AMG to the Audi RS3 to see which performance sedan is best. Before we get into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with both of these cars. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for John. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Starting under the hood of the CLA, we've got a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 382 horsepower and then 354 pound-feet of torque. Now under the hood of the RS3, we've got a turbocharged 2.5-liter 5-cylinder that goes through a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic. Power outputs with this are 401 horsepower and then 369 pound-feet of torque. Now before we move on with this comparison, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the CLA, you guys can see you've got distinctive lines there on the hood, and it has this kind of sharp, almost angular appearance with the front end. Now the RS3 I would say is also really aggressive and probably a little bit more aggressive with the appearance, and a big part of that is just how massive that front grille is. But let me know which front end style you like more. Now popping over to the CLA, we have a tire and wheel setup of 255/35/19 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see here with the AMG style wheels that are actually mostly closed off, which I think looks pretty sweet. Now with the Audi, our tire and wheel setup is 235/35/19 in the front and in the rear. I do need to mention this Audi is on winter tires right now, so this isn't a perfectly fair comparison, but I do love the red brake caliper. I think that kind of makes things a little bit cooler. Now when it comes to the side view of the CLA, you guys can see the silver trim around the windows, and then notice with the wheels that also kind of blends in with that. So it has this more luxury car appearance from the side. The Audi on the other hand is quite a bit different. You've got that little venting piece there on the front, and so it has this more aggressive appearance on the side, especially with how sharp the body lines are. And that trend continues to the rear. I mean, look at how soft all the lines are here with the CLA, and then look at the bottom with the diffuser and exhaust tips. That's where you know it means business. But then compare that with the Audi, where again, it's a little bit more angular with the overall design. But let me know which back end you like more. Now this is a great time to compare keys. You guys can see with the AMG key, and then we've got the RS key fob right there. If you're running in terms of functionality, it's identical with both the cars. Now here's a quick look at the storage space with the Audi RS3. And then comparing with the CLA looks like it has a little bit more storage space here in the rear. Now here's a rear door panel with the RS3. You guys can see with the ambient lighting, and then I love the Alcantara here, and then you got the padding down below. Really cool design here with the seats, by the way. And then let's actually compare room here in the back. So there's your leg room, there's your headroom. We got some vent action here in the rear. Of course, got a cup holder armrest, but very nice looking cabin. Now the CLA, the first thing I noticed is frameless windows, which is always interesting, and then a lot more nice material use compared to the Audi, so a little bit more luxury looking. And then here are the seats, pretty cool looking. And then let's pop in here, and it's about the same with the room. I'm noticing actually the roof line's more aggressive here, so a little bit less headroom in the CLA. And then of course we got our cup holder armrest. But yeah, let me know which seat design you think is cooler here with the rear seats. Now popping to the front of the Audi, you guys can see again with the little ambient lighting strip, and then the padding and the Alcantara, all of our window controls and everything. And then we do have blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then here are the front seats, pretty cool with the design. And then let's see how this sounds closing and starting her up. Ooh, fancy. So you've got the golf ball texture all around the steering wheel. Paddle shifters here on the back for the 7-speed dual clutch, and I've got it automatic, so it's going to be really loud, so let's turn that up a little bit so then it'll calm down. And then we do have this full digital gauge cluster here, which I think is pretty cool. Notice I can change the drive mode with it, so I can pop into dynamic, but then I can also go into the RS mode, which also fully changes it, so that's pretty fun. And then pretty normal camera system here with the Audi. Decent resolution. Lighting's horrible with that shot. But as for the rest of the infotainment system, I've been living with this for a week. I'd say it's pretty easy to use. You have a shortcut bar there on the side. Overall response time with the screen's really good. The main thing is you got a vehicle tab, which you can go into the drive mode select and kind of customize everything if you want. We do have dual zone climate, we've got heated seats, we've got a wireless phone charging pad. The shifter on this is kind of interesting, that's for sure. And then you guys can see the center console space. And then look at this on the dash. I think it'll be interesting to compare material use because I think the RS3 is going to feel a little bit like less premium with the interior. But anyways, we do have a sunroof here at the top as well. Now popping over to the CLA, you guys can see again with all of the leather trim, and then look at like the Alcantara down below, all of our window controls. And we'll see Audi's window controls look a little bit nicer, but notice you can power fold in the mirrors, memory seats, heated seats, blind spot monitoring. And then here are the seats themselves with the front. And then, let's see, this one. Yeah, frameless windows always sound different. Ooh. So you can see with the steering wheel, really aggressive. You've got like the kind of like golf ball texture, but just on this portion. Really cool paddle shifters on the back. Yeah, kind of hard to choose between the steering wheels. I am a big fan of Mercedes steering wheel. And then just like the Audi full digital gauge cluster. Now just like other Mercedes-Benz models, you can like fully change the gauge cluster. So I can swipe over here and I can change to whatever I want. So like I could go to classic, for example, if I wanted, and that would change it there. And then let's see what it's got for a camera system. It's just a regular backup camera, just like the Audi. So that is all the same. Now, I don't know why, we'll just do call later. Anyways, as for the rest of the infotainment system, you know, I will say, I think that this infotainment system is a little bit better. They're both just as responsive, but this, you have more ways to control it. And it seems like the overall setup, I don't know, a little bit more intuitive, but they're both great systems. And then look at the dash. Yeah, you got like stitching and padding, and then it says AMG. Notice how it kind of goes across. That looks really cool. So I feel like this interior kind of feels a little bit more high class. Dual zone climate controls. See the storage space here. And then we have our drive mode select. We've got a bunch of different drive modes, just like the Audi, as you can see. And there's an individual, right? And then you guys can see we've got the manual shift function there. And then center console. Pretty normal glove box. And then this one has a sunroof as well. It's a little bit bigger than the Audi sunroof. Now when it comes to pricing, you can get a CLA 45 AMG in like the high 50s, low 60s, depending on options. With the RS3s, most of them I've seen are equipped just like this one at about $65,000, so the RS3 is a little bit more expensive. Well, let's talk about visibility here in the CLA. Here's your visibility of the hood. Both the mirrors, just do blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And I do want to mention, I'm using this driving video for my CLA review, and then also for my CLA versus RS3 review. And so, yeah, just to understand that. So there might be some comments about the RS3 in this particular video. But setting off in the CLA, this is actually a really cool car. I feel like it's a pretty underrated car. A lot of people see 4-cylinder and they go, don't really care. And it's like, wait a second. This thing has almost 400 horsepower out of a little 2-liter 4-cylinder. That's pretty crazy. It's loud too, actually. Just like getting up a little bit, it's pretty obnoxious right off the bat. We'll say the suspension is definitely on the firmer side. Let's see what drive mode I'm in. So I'm in comfort right now. Oh, this thing's so responsive. It's pretty exciting. Okay, so we're getting up and moving again. Look how responsive the transmission is. And this is, again, in comfort mode. I'm interested to see in the manual mode. Wow. Pretty dang responsive with those downshifts. That is for sure. I like the handling feel of this too. Let's pop it over into Sport Plus. So everything's gonna get a little bit more aggressive in the Sport Plus. It's pretty dang comfortable, actually. Ooh, it makes pops out of the exhaust. I just got in it like a little bit, not really an acceleration, but just kind of got it to rev up a little bit, and it sounds pretty sweet. The thing that's most impressive to me so far is the transmission. I think that's pretty dang solid. See how the damping is over this little grate. Yeah, the suspension's definitely firmer. That's for sure. Okay, well, looks like we're good to go. So we are going to Did you hear that out of the back end? The just pop, it's like crazy aggressive pops. That is insane. Let me get to do that again. Listen to that. Oh my goodness, that is so thrilling. Man, for a 4-cylinder, this thing is pretty dang fun. It's quick too. Wow. I didn't think I was gonna have this much fun with this car, but man, oh man. Oh, that's so cool. I don't care if it's piped in or not. It sounds so sweet. Okay, so I guess we have to sum things up for the CLA. Oh, this car is such a blast to drive. My goodness. Handling's good on it too. This thing's so fun. It sounds amazing. Super underrated car, in my opinion. Super underrated. Let me know what you guys think about the CLA 45, but like it's just like, it's fast, it's fun, it sounds good, it checks all the boxes pretty much. Okay, well, we are going to now set off in the RS3, and I'm driving these back to back, so let's see if I feel like I've gained something or lost something by popping into the RS3 from the CLA 45 AMG. First off, I do want to mention, in the automatic mode, this seems to be a better luxury car than the CLA. The CLA seems to be like really hardcore on the sports side of things, whereas this seems to be more like, at least in this automatic mode, seems to be more on the luxury side. Suspension's a little bit more comfortable, and it's actually a little bit quieter in here too. Like the interior noise, the road noise and everything. Transmissions are pretty equal in terms of how good they feel, but it's this feels way more toned down. Like the CLA 45, you can tell it's a CLA 45 even in comfort. This in automatic mode, I mean, someone could think that this is literally an Audi A3, right? You're not going to mistake that for a CLA 250, but you could mistake this for an Audi A3. So I will say that I think that on the, I guess, luxury daily driver perspective, I think that Audi's done a little bit of a better job, but they're both really comfortable cars. It seems like the suspension on this a little bit more compliant. Super close though. This does have a lighter feel to it. I do like the steering on this a little bit more. I think that's a little bit better, but let's pop it into the RS mode. So this is the performance mode. So this is our craziest mode. It's still quieter than the CLA. Transmission's aggressive though, let me tell you. See how it does over this little grate. Yeah, it seems like the suspension calibration on this is a little bit better, but I'll let this Range Rover go by first. I'm gonna wait a second so we don't have anyone coming here for a second. Okay. So they're both really fast. I will say though, the CLA feels torquier at the low end, and this feels like more turbo lag, like it's takes a second for it to get into things. Transmission's just as responsive. So since this is a press car, I'm okay with bouncing off the rev limiter. CLA dealership car, we're not gonna do that. Man, tough choice. This is actually a lot closer than I expected. You know what, I talked to a few people before I did this comparison. I was like, I was like, I'm probably going to end up saying the Audi because that's what everyone picks, is the Audi. But here's the deal. That CLA is really underrated. I like the acceleration with that more than this. Now, when it comes to sound, yes, I like the intake noise of this better with the 5-cylinder. However, the exhaust popples and everything with the CLA, they're a little bit more exciting. I think that part of it's a little bit more exciting. CLA acceleration, like I said, is better. The steering's better, suspension's better on this. Seat comfort's good on both of them. I think the CLA interior is a little bit more exciting than this one. Man, tough choice. They're actually way closer than I expected. I thought, again, based on all the reviews I saw, I thought this was just gonna blow the CLA out of the water, but that's not the case. Let me know which one you'd pick, whether it be RS3 or CLA, but I think they definitely both have their upsides and their downsides.